Most people think they know what light is. They think it's something that comes from the sun, bounces off objects, and enters their eyes. Simple, reasonable, and deeply misleading. Because the moment you ask a precise question about light, not a poetic one, not a philosophical one, but a sharp, experimental question, light stops behaving like anything you're familiar with. And today I want to show you why. Not with mysticism, not with vague words, with experiments. Let's start with something that should not work. Light has no mass, none. And yet, if you shine light on a small object, a thin piece of foil suspended on a thread, the foil moves. Light pushes it. That means light carries momentum. But momentum, as you learned in school, is mass times velocity. No mass, no momentum. So the foil should stay perfectly still, but it doesn't. So either the foil is lying, or our understanding was incomplete. But momentum, as you learned in school, is mass times velocity. No mass, no momentum, so the foil should stay perfectly still. But it doesn't, so either the foil is lying, or our understanding was incomplete. But it doesn't, so either the foil is lying, or our understanding was incomplete. The answer is that Newton's formula was never wrong. It was just limited. It works beautifully for baseballs and cars. But nature has deeper rules. Einstein showed us that energy and momentum are woven together. For objects with mass, some energy is locked into that mass. That's the famous E equals mc squared. But for light, the mass term vanishes, so all of a photon's energy comes from its momentum. Light isn't a thing that moves. Motion is what it is. That's why light can never slow down. A photon cannot rest. Stopping would mean it stops existing as a photon. This isn't abstract theory. We tested it. In the early 1920s, X-rays were fired at electrons. They bounced off exactly like colliding particles. The energy shift matched momentum transfer perfectly. Light has no mass, but it hits. That alone should already make you uneasy. But now let's make it worse. You were also taught that light is a wave, and that wasn't a mistake either. Send light through two narrow slits. Look at the wall behind them. If light were just tiny particles, you'd see two bright lines, one behind each slit, but you don't. You see a pattern, bright bands, dark bands, repeating, interference. Where peaks meet peaks, brightness increases. Where peaks meet troughs, they cancel completely. Only waves do that. So light must be a wave, but a wave in what? Water waves need water. Sound waves need air. What is light waving through? For a long time, physicists invented something called the ether, an invisible substance filling all space. Then we looked for it, and it wasn't there. Empty space is really empty. So what's waving? The answer came from electricity and magnetism. A changing electric field creates a magnetic field. A changing magnetic field creates an electric field. They chase each other through space, sustaining themselves. That self-propagating dance is light. And when Maxwell calculated how fast this disturbance should move, he got a number. 300,000 kilometers per second, the speed of light. Not because light is special, but because space and time are. That number is built into the structure of reality. It's the conversion factor between them. 1 second of time corresponds to 300,000 kilometers of space. That's why nothing outruns light, not because the universe posted a speed limit sign, but because that's how space-time works. So now we're done, right? Light is an electromagnetic wave. Mystery solved. Except it isn't, because now I'm going to break it. Shine light on a metal surface. Electrons fly out. But here's the strange part. Red light doesn't work, no matter how bright it is. You can blast the surface with red light for hours, days, nothing. But faint blue light, electrons pop out instantly. That makes no sense for a wave. A stronger wave carries more energy. Enough red light should eventually do the job, but it never does. Einstein figured out why. Light doesn't deliver energy smoothly. It arrives in chunks, packets, photons. Each photon carries a specific amount of energy, and that energy depends on the color. Blue photons hit hard, red photons don't. It doesn't matter how many weak punches you throw. You need one hard hit. So light is made of particles. But wait, we proved it's a wave. So which is it? Here's the honest answer. Light is not a wave. Light is not a particle. Those are human categories for everyday objects. Light doesn't fit them. Now let me show you something truly strange. Send photons through the two slits, but one at a time. One photon, one dot on the screen. No mystery. Keep going. Thousands of photons, still one at a time. If each photon is a particle, the dots should form two clusters, one behind each slit. They don't. They build the interference pattern. A single photon interferes with itself. How? Because the photon doesn't take a definite path. There is no left slit or right slit until detection. Instead, there's a probability amplitude, a mathematical object that spreads through space. It goes through both slits. It interferes with itself. And then, when detection happens, reality commits to one outcome. Before that, asking which slit did it go through is like asking what a coin shows before it lands. There is no answer yet. Now let's go deeper. When light travels from point A to point B, how does it get there? You think it takes the straight path. In quantum mechanics, that's not how the calculation works. The photon contributes through every possible path. Straight ones, curved ones, wild ones, even absurd ones. But here's the trick. Each path carries a phase, like a little rotating clock hand. When you add all the contributions, most of them cancel. The wildly different paths point in every direction and wipe each other out. Only paths near the stationary travel time reinforce. So light appears to travel straight. But underneath, the structure is interference across possibilities. This explains reflection. A mirror doesn't reflect light because photons know the rule angle in equals angle out. Light contributes from everywhere on the mirror, but only certain bundles of paths add up coherently. Scratch the mirror in the right periodic way, a diffraction grating, and light goes places it normally wouldn't, not because it broke rules, because you changed which contributions cancel and which survive. Now suppose you try to catch the photon cheating. You put a detector at the slits. The interference vanishes. You get two blobs, one behind each slit, exactly what you'd expect if the photon took one path. This is the brutal lesson. The moment you make which path knowable, interference dies. And it's not about smashing the photon with a clumsy detector. You can make the interaction as gentle as you like. If the information exists in principle, the pattern disappears. Now the final twist. You can decide whether to measure which path after the photon has passed the slits. And the result still changes, interference or no interference. That's what delayed choice experiments show. The photon didn't decide earlier. There was no settled fact about the path. At the quantum level, the story you're allowed to tell depends on the measurement you complete. Now zoom out. What is light at the deepest level we understand? Light is an excitation of the electromagnetic field. The field exists everywhere, even in darkness, even in the emptiest space between galaxies. And that space is never still. The uncertainty principle forbids perfect calm, so the field fluctuates. Tiny ripples appear and disappear. You might think that's just math. It's not. Those fluctuations have measurable consequences. Put two metal plates very close together in a vacuum. They attract. That's the Casimir effect. Not because of air pressure, not because of static electricity, because the allowed field fluctuations between the plates are restricted compared to outside. Different spectrum, different energy density, net force, empty space, pushes. Inside atoms, vacuum fluctuations shift energy levels. That's part of what you see in effects like the Lamb shift and spontaneous emission. An atom emitting a photon randomly is nudged by the vacuum field. The so-called emptiness is active. So what is a photon? A photon is not a tiny marble flying through a medium. A photon is a quantized vibration of the field itself. Like a stadium wave, the pattern moves, but nothing material travels around the stadium. The field oscillates, the excitation propagates, and when it interacts with matter, energy is transferred and the excitation is gone. Now let me make this concrete, because this is where people drift into poetry. When you say, "I see a lamp," what's actually happening is brutally specific. An electromagnetic field in the room is oscillating. That oscillation reaches your eye. Inside your retina, a molecule absorbs that energy. An electron changes state. A biochemical cascade starts. Signals propagate through the optic nerve. Your brain reconstructs a world, and that world feels solid and continuous. But the process that builds it is not. It is discrete events, individual interactions, quantum exchanges. Even when it feels like a smooth stream of light, underneath it is a shower of quantized transfers. And notice something important. At no point did we need consciousness to create reality. The detector doesn't have to be a human. It can be a piece of photographic film, a sensor, a dust grain, a molecule in your eye. Observation in physics means interaction that leaves a record. That's what collapses the possibilities into an outcome. So the weirdness isn't your mind changes light. The weirdness is that nature doesn't assign classical properties until an interaction forces a definite result. Quantum mechanics is not strange because it's vague. It's strange because it's precise. It gives you probabilities, and those probabilities match experiments with absurd accuracy. That's the part I find most beautiful. The universe could have been chaotic, unpredictable, incomprehensible. Instead, it is subtle. It hides its rules beneath layers of approximation. But if you peel them back carefully, the structure is there. Light behaves in a way that defies everyday categories, yes, but it is consistent, and that same consistency is why modern technology works at all. Lasers, transistors, computers, medical imaging, GPS, all of it depends on light and electrons obeying these quantum rules exactly, not approximately exactly. So the next time you flip a switch and a room fills with light, remember what's really happening. A field that fills space vibrates. That vibration propagates as quantized excitations. Those excitations don't carry a definite path the way a thrown ball does. They contribute through possibilities, and the experiment selects what becomes real. And somehow, from all of that strangeness, you get a stable picture of the world in your mind. That is not obvious. That is extraordinary. Light is not just something that lets you see the universe. It is the universe showing you the rules it runs on. Thank you for listening. Now tell me in the comments, what surprised you most about the nature of light?